Hello and welcome to the Tech Lunch Podcast, where we encourage our listeners to learn something new about tech every week. This can range from learning about new and exciting applications to the advancements in coding and technology. If you are always learning, you will always be a step above the rest. Take the time during lunch or during a break to listen and learn, kind of like a lunch and learn, but for the ears. This podcast will open the listeners' ears to new and exciting technologies they may have not been privy to in the past. These topics will range from manufacturing technologies to data collection technologies and everything in between.
All right, I'm Nick.
Hey, I'm John.
Hello, Matt.
And this week, we're gonna kind of run down some interesting topic here. In light of the recent, I guess you could say head injury that Tua was stained down with the Miami Dolphins. We're gonna try to get into technology and sports. We're gonna kind of play that ball game, because if you think about it, if you get any type of technology, if it's the broadcasting technology we have now, which we talked about earlier, the lines are go back to what you were talking about, hockey and their freaking weird ass pucks,
Glowing puck.
the puck of doom. But if you start thinking about it, you can get helmets. You got these helmets that have sensors in them that can tell you just how hard a hit was. Mm-hmm. How hard was a impact to a orbital nerve or something like that somebody sustained, that immediately triggers a concussion protocol. You think about it, what is a load cell? You get load cells. As long as those load cells take an impact, you can tell you how many how many joules that person took, which now anticipates could you possibly have a head injury. But that's kind of some of the stuff that we're going to be touching on today. And it's like, and also you got the exercise science too. With the special balls they have now that people use to say their throwing distance and kicking distance, and stuff like that, to work on spirals and whatnot. Yeah. So, we're going to start getting into that today. When we start thinking about that, what do y'all want to take? What do y'all think about it?
Oh man, you can go in so many different directions. I think my biggest thing is with technology and sports, and is like, because we're talking, we're usually on industrial, IT, OT side of things, and what a better way to showcase some of the the communications needed to be set up, the several sets of cameras to like if you just talk about purely one thing, and I feel like the majority of people have watched American football, right? They every time you get they first and 10, you got 10 yards to gain, but like if you watch tape from the 80s, even as early as early 90s, that there was no indicator for the audience. You had to guesstimate, or you had to understand how the game was played fundamentally. So maybe you played it earlier, so you would see, I know what that target is on the side, that one ref, his entire job, or no, two refs actually, their entire job is to hold that line to gain sign. What does that mean, and how can I see that better? So getting a line on the field to show the person watching the game, let alone just getting the game on TV as well, adding those things together. It's crazy the amount of effort and work that has to go through those just communication lines to get to the cable. You have to have several cameras working in unison, and an operator who is controlling the transparency, or the angle of the play, and that it makes it so much easier to watch and so much more inclusive for the audience.
Think about the field goal line. The field goal line, you're going to take statistics from that one kicker or punter. Most of the time it's the kicker. Taking into account their freaking, average, their yearly average, and what it equals out to, and tells you how far you have to make it before there is a inkling of hope that kicker can make that field goal. Yep. If you're some college teams, usually that line doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. He's looking at you, Ed.
God forbid your jerseys are the same color as the line. It makes it hard.
We have some teams out there who their kickers are a little bit more reliable when it comes to that line. Yeah. Some you think you're outside the curse, and sometimes that curse comes back.
Yeah.
You know, there for a while, I think you and me talked about it one time, Ed. It's the curse of the field goal line.
Yeah.
You know, once they get close, they ain't making it.
I would say like the big thing when you're talking technology and we talking about how you can use it into far as using it with some type of concussion protocol.
Yeah, safety.
The issue with that is, okay, we can estimate impact, but then you would also have to have something that's at the neural level too.
Yeah.
So something would have to maybe when the padding that's on the inside the helmet had some way of connecting. But normally when we do that, anything with neural, you have to shave your head.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a way to make that technology where
suction cups and stuff or something.
or will you look at implants or some type of way of doing some sensor that you wear around maybe the forehead that communicates.
Put on the front of the brow of the helmet.
Yeah, Bluetooth or something. You know, like you said, it would be a good idea to use the impact sensors or use strain gauges or something like that can measure those things. But then you still also need to know what is the actual impact to the head. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. Yes, I get a certain amount. Say it's a certain amount of G's. Yeah. Or a certain amount of force. Yeah. How does that translate to the impact of how the brain moves forward and back? Well, so that would be something if nothing else, we could use it to study.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, and I agree with that 100%. And you know, I think also if you think about it, if you took that data and hooked it up to like a blood pressure cuff, usually if somebody has a head injury, your blood pressure skyrockets. Yeah. You know, it starts to skyrocket for a little bit, then it dumps off. Yeah. You know, so you're able to watch that. However, I'm not saying that, you know, you're doing an on-field estimation of, okay, cool, this guy's got a concussion, you know, because he may have had a tracheotomy issue, you know, had some heart valve problems or whatnot. But the thing is, if you suspect that there's a head injury, when you get to the sideline, I would take your helmet, I'm going to plug it into a data computer, I'm going to pull all that data off there and kind of draft that out and see exactly what the heck happened.
Yeah, you rewrite the protocol.
If you're over a certain amount of, you know, joules on that impact, and you're exhibiting signs of concussion, guess what? Now you fall under the concussion protocol.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Right. You know, but the thing is what that does is you get some people that come walking off, okay, well, I'm a little woozy, but, you know, there's no concussion found, you know, guy going through concussion protocol and stuff like that. Let me adjust my algorithm a little bit. So it's a learning process. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, you get some of those people that now they're using technology to monitor, you know, fast twitch muscle fibers on pitchers and stuff like that when you're doing through training camps and whatnot to make sure that pitcher is not overexerting his arm. Yeah. You know, you got all these different sensors and stuff like that people are using to kind of, you know, not game the game, but to make the game safer. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, if you think about it, in hockey, we deal with radar. There's a lot of radar in that game.
You got to watch that puck.
You know, watch how fast that puck is moving.
It's moving. Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, you know, why can't I have impact sensors inside my glass that tells me if somebody gets checked up against that glass, how much force did that glass take? How much force does that individual sustain on the other end? Because there's not a whole lot saving you, you know. But and the thing is, it also tells me that, you know, have I had enough impact on the glass that now it's time to replace the fasteners because it's been hit one too many times. You know,
how many times have you seen the glass shattered?
Oh, there's no point.
Yeah, it's countless, and that's the thing too. It's like, and you don't have to just relate it to even just impact. Like we talk about you talk about safety and things like that. Yeah, it'll as we progress and as we like move forward in technology, like we're gonna continuously we've given our players like weapons to make their job easier, or they can jump higher. You know, they could run faster. They have better cleats. They can't use stickums in the NFL. They got better gloves. Like you got all these extra things that are geared to assist you. But how many times do you think that they're thinking about safety first? And how many times are they gearing that towards like not trying to break that record, but like trying to push that, you know, that athlete to a point where they can get close to that record without sacrificing their, you know, physical life after sports? Because how many times have you seen somebody, like, you get a concussion, if you like in Tua's case, he didn't have less than a week turnaround before the next game, hits his head on the same spot, like if it doesn't go well, that's your career.
Yeah.
That's your whole career. And how many times that who I can't remember his name, but there was a few years ago, CTE once it started first coming a big thing. I think Junior Seau, like you start noticing a lot of those behavior cases. Changes, and it's like how do we not notice this earlier, and how do we prevent this from happening in the future? And it goes into your helmet sensors and things like that. I think having joule sensors is a great idea because, like, yes, some people can take different amounts of joules, but on average, we're talking data. We talked visualization before. We talked all these like charts and stuff. On average, you will know what that player takes if you start taking aggregates of those hits that they get the beginning of their career. So you got, like, let's say Tom Brady, for instance, 20 plus years in the league, right? If you have 20 years of his hits that he's received, and you see one outlier that's like twice the normal that he gets, you're going to sit him down for a little bit and say, hey man, Father Time is like undefeated. You think that you may not be recovering a little bit? Like you think this is hitting you a little bit harder? And that'll also affect your, like your outlook going forward, and it'll make let the team make a better decision. And if you have that documented, you can not only protect your doctors, which in a lot of cases, they're not going to fire the coach. Yeah. They're not going to fire the player. They're firing the team doctor.
Yeah, and the thing is I think that,
But the team doctor makes the call regardless.
Right. The team doctor does make the call.
Regardless of who the owner is, the team doctor signed off on it. So the team doctor can say, well, hey, this is the end of my career. I'm going to end it myself. Yeah. Or I'm going to be the scapegoat and be the person that's responsible. Yeah. Yeah. We know that the team doctor didn't make that decision itself. Yeah. We know that the team doctor was influenced to make that decision.
Yeah. It's like, the big thing is I think that, the pro level, the concussion protocol is just crap. They need to follow the college level concussion protocol, and go from there. You need to also have a neuro doctor on staff at all times during games. That's just my opinion. But, away from all the doom and gloom, I guess. If you think about it, technology can also make sports fun. Wow. Think about it. Look at NASCAR. Look at Formula One. Look at MotoGP. Look at some of those, drag racing and stuff like that. NHRA, Top Fuel guys. Their vehicles are networked. Yeah. To the T's, where a fan can see everything about that vehicle at real time to what the driver is seeing and also what the crew chief is seeing at all times. Mm-hmm. So it puts you into the race a little bit. Yeah. You kind of feel the adrenaline and stuff like that. However, they still do have your accelerometers, so if something does go awry, it can do the rest. But if you think about it, look at MotoGP. MotoGP, I don't know if any of y'all are fans of MotoGP, but MotoGP also has the airbags built into the race suits. If you come off that bike, you hit impact, the race suit inflates, saving you from impact. Yeah. And pretty much saving your life at that point. So there's that type of stuff. But, it's here nor there.
So I think the big thing was like, with all this technology we're saying, it'd be nice to have that, but you're talking a machine versus a man. And like, I get the fans having an experience, but I think the experience can be done with drones. I think the experience can be done with, maybe we can even look at some technology with cameras. But I think the problem is you're going to get into HIPAA rules and HIPAA laws when you start trying to say, I want to see data from a human is going out to the fans. And then how do I protect that data?
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't let that data out.
But how do you protect it? Yeah. How do you stop data breaches? Mm-hmm. The more you collect data, the more that data becomes a target, or the more attack surface. Can be used against I agree with what you're saying, that it could be a better experience, not only for the fan, it could be data that can be given back to the player, so the player can get some feedback on what he can do better or where he's struggling. Yeah. But I think it's a new horizon, a new frontier. Mm-hmm. Maybe we just need to monitor, first and figure out what data we need to make that experience better for the fans to kind of match what you do with motor vehicles.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible.
Think about this. You know, if you think about it, you got like, you know, the cricket, baseball, you know, and all those other sports. You know, we use radar guns routinely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, and cricket, it's seeing how fast the cricket balls come at the wickets. Mm-hmm. You know, however, in baseball, it's complete opposite. You know, it's how fast the ball comes at the human. You know, and I'm trying to hit it with a stick. Yeah. You know, in hockey, how fast that little puck thing flying through the air, and you know, the greatest of ease, and you got a big dude on the other end trying to catch it.
There's a reason they're missing teeth.
Right. Oops. Yeah. But the thing is, think about this. If you started doing more and more and more of, if I took a baseball, I put in or a cricket ball, or a puck, and I put an accelerometer in the darn thing, that tells me how hard I hit that damn thing.
Yeah. That'd be the best place to start would be with the equipment.
Or, hey, how far did that thing fly? Yeah. Because it's got a GPS on board. It tells me, you know, what the distance is. Right now, you talk about like baseball and a whole lot of guessing.
Yeah, it makes you wonder because they do have like tracking when, you know, let's say, you know, Aaron Judge just hit another home run. They do have 62. Tracking, and you see the number as it's getting at whatever footage, you know, whatever distance it hits. Yeah. But like I've always, you know, wondered like how accurate is that, because, you know, it doesn't look. It looks like they drew it to the right spot, but it's like, how do you know that that's, you know, 386 yards.
Right. Whole lot of approximation.
Yeah. How do you know?
Well, baseball is different.
Yeah, you have some
determined. Baseball measured to a point because they know from that point, because their home runs were hit before.
Yeah, that's true.
They've actually taken measurements from that point to that point. However, how do we know where it hit exactly?
Yeah.
Did it hit and bounce?
Wow. But yeah, you're raising the point that like we were talking about earlier, is like they're using their data. They're using their old data that we were talking about. Like how do you get better? Yeah. We've been seeing them hit home runs for years, and a lot of these stadiums have been here for, you know, what, decades and decades and decades. So you're absolutely right. Like they have data that they could leverage. You know, they just need to probably make a couple visualizations and which make it better to digest for the fan, because we talk about baseball's America's pastime, but it's slowly losing fan base. How do we make it exciting again?
Exactly.
And how do we show that data?
And
but you are right when you're saying about where it locates. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just because we know that it's this distance, how do we know where it actually landed? Yeah. Because we know once it goes over the fence. Yeah. But where's the camera after it goes over the fence?
Right. Yeah. It's like, you know, the one thing is, I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with highlight. That is the one sport that I'd love to see a little bit of chrono on. Because, you know, if you've ever watched highlight, these guys are swinging these little basket-looking things with a ball on it as hard as they can against a wall. Mm-hmm. And they're getting some speed behind it.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know, I'd be kind of curious to see, does the angle of the highlight thing, you know, change the speed or the velocity coming off the end of that thing, heading towards that wall? What's your ricochet point?
So I love that you mentioned that, because I did not know what that was until you started explaining it, and I absolutely know what you're talking about, because I first thought you were talking something like squash.
Racquetball.
Racquetball. I've played that. I've gotten hit by one of those things. It's not fun.
So you think about that whole, like, you think about how much you can, like a pitcher can throw the ball. Yeah, they get up into the hundreds, right? Now, I'm gonna go a little bit physics nerd on you for a second. So what that's doing, that little piece that you're holding, that's holding the ball, you're increasing your lever arm. Mm-hmm. Like so you're increasing the force that you can apply to that ball and the speed that you're gonna put. Like you're gonna get that ball moving so much quicker. So like that makes it that much more dangerous. And to be honest with you, if you can get a cheap enough accelerometer tossed into that ball, and you can see how many times that thing's going around, I think it would be much, much more impressive than even it'd be probably on par with some of the hockey hits.
Now, the thing is, if you think about it, have you ever seen one of those little things that they hold under their hands?
Yes.
So those are a big giant hook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, so you're building the speed up that way.
Yeah. They used to have like.
I know what you're talking about.
Like they used to be able to throw spears at long distances before they had, you know, any harpoon or ballista. They would have the lever arm as long as to your forearm, and your spear the start of your spear would be facing backwards, actually. Or no, sorry, no. So it would be facing the right way, but the piece that you're holding is backwards, so that the hook sits on your shoulder, holds the end of the spear. So when you throw it, you're extending that to twice your arm length, and it goes twice the distance at half the effort. It's crazy.
Think about lacrosse.
Yeah,
and how fast that ball is freaking moving.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. I tried lacrosse. It was
I never could get into it.
Yeah, but no, it's the same thing. And the lacrosse ball compared to any other inflated balls. I mean, a football can hurt you, but like it's at the point. Like a basketball, like that's not that bad. A soccer ball, not that bad. They hit each other in the head all the time. Baseball is gonna hurt you a little bit, but you walk that off. I mean, how often is that ball getting thrown at you?
Right.
Like maybe 9-10 times in one instance, and then from then on you're like you got a break. You don't have to take that nonstop. But a lacrosse ball, they're going for like
couple hours.
Yeah, and it's nonstop. Like they're moving and they have minimal padding. Minimal. So that one will do some damage too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think that
I don't think lacrosse has a lot of technology.
It doesn't have that.
But they don't have that many injuries either. The injuries they have are injuries with knees.
Yeah.
So because yes, they do have the sticks, and yes, they do check each other with the stick. But for the most part, it's more like horse polo on horses. Like they because of how they interact, it's not the same. It's like you checking somebody with the hockey stick, or I'm taking and going from 20 yards out, trying to make a shot to a net. It's more I'm passing it to another guy, and then you're scoring. It's not like it's just take and just sling. So it can be some injuries there, but I do agree with like the item we're using for any sport. For example, in football, like putting the ball where it's supposed to be, where did he make the first down or not?
Yeah,
shouldn't be a guess. Man. It should just automatically know once it crossed that plane, touchdown. Was it a good catch or not? We should be able to use drones to be able to get any view we want from up top.
Yeah.
To in unison with the cameras at the pylons and the humans, so the humans get a replay in real time on a band on their arm. Oh, okay, hey, this check, that check, we good.
Yeah, I agree.
That would make the experience better, and then also with the concussion protocol, not only would it go to the sidelines, it would go to the league office, and it would go to the officials.
Yeah.
All that information, and to the specialists on the sideline.
Yeah, I agree.
The specialist saying, "Yeah, guys, this is we need to stop."
Yeah, this is it. Pull them out.
You know.
I think if anybody, like, I know we go back to that. We were trying to stay away from the somber side, but like we go back to that. I think that if any of the doctors that on the Dolphins team just watch the tape, you would notice it was immediate. And like to your point, like if that they got tablets everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So
advanced analytics, but owned by Microsoft.
Exactly, and it's Microsoft, right? So if they got that, I'm not saying that they have to have a neurosurgeon, which I think that they do have a neurosurgeon now on the sideline.
But even if the person went on the sideline,
they can still make a call.
There are people that are looking at data from all type of advanced equipment where we're scanning the whole body, or we're scanning a person's skull to see these patterns that person in real time, wherever they are, can make that decision. A whole panel. We can have a panel of experts look at it in real time. So that's the ideal. It should be something done in real time, and then they can teach. The doctors can teach the AI and the machine learning. Hey, this is what you need to look for.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%.
And then you signal me, and I'll make the decision.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one thing that actually, so I think that the innovation's constantly happening though. Like there's new things popping up. Like when the yellow line to gain for football popped up the first time, we started noticing it. The strike zone for baseball, I started noticing those things. Like, it's kind of the elephant in the room, augmented reality. Like we've been using that. Everybody's been using that longer than they realize. The Panthers sadly are having a tough year, but they've been using augmented reality in their stadium to display a panther running around, which like it's pretty realistic, to be honest with you, and it's a bunch of cameras and lights.
Yeah,
that's all it is really. So yeah, augmented reality is definitely a way, like a wave that is going to kind of push the innovation. Also, Amazon, when they're doing their Thursday night games, I've started to notice that
they're doing more and more tech with it.
They're testing some things, like a testing ground. It's actually pretty cool to see, because I've noticed that the players now get highlighted and their route gets written onto the field as they run it.
Yeah.
So they're showing you what the play is, getting you more in tune with football. And you know, for someone, if someone doesn't know how the game is played, and they or how a playbook looks, it's showing you right there. Yeah. And I think that's really cool.
And think about this, you know, like in motorsports, you know, I'm a car guy, so I'll go back to motorsports. Yeah. You know, you have in-car cameras, you know, showing you what that driver is seeing, showing you what that rider's seeing, you know, putting you in the hot seat, you know, when these NHRA top fuel cars go ripping down the track at 200 some odd miles an hour.
Racing is incredible too, because they're within hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. You're talking reaction time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And, you know, and the thing is we're tracking that reaction time based off of lights, light curtains, you know, for these vehicles, and they take off the, you know, the starting blocks. You know, if you're talking on friggin', you know, drag racing and stuff like that. You know, PLCs are still involved, so you still got some OT in the drag racing world. Right. You know, however, most of it's, you know, human power. You know, but, you know.
Well, it's going to start out that way probably for a little bit.
But the thing is what I mean by human power, it's still that human that has to trigger the vehicle to do what he wants it to do.
Oh, okay. I see.
You know, it's not auto trigger. I see. You know, it can't be. You know, you have the line locks, and once you release the line lock, it dumps all that pressure in the transmission, and it takes off. You know, but it's still a human that has to rely on the, you know, the thing, and so you can't really, you know, deal with that all too much. But the thing is technology right now, say in the past 20 years, for example, has made sports so much more enjoyable. You know, it's surprisingly, it's also made tennis and golf enjoyable. You know, and I used to play golf. Oh yeah. You know, but think about this. It's like what we were talking about earlier about understanding, you know, swing dynamics and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. You know, you talk about golf, you talk about swing dynamics, and the fact that, you know, the fact that, you know, somebody's hitting that golf ball so hard they're sending the damn thing to Mars. Yeah. You know. There's some, like, you got these guys, I don't know if you ever watched the long drive guys. Their entire goal in life is to launch a golf ball as far as they can physically send it. Yeah. You're talking 500-600 yard freaking golf ball shots. You know, if not further.
I think I've watched that competition. It's really entertaining.
You know, it's like, sure, well, you know, what are you going to do today? Well, I'm going to try to send a golf ball to Mars.
Yeah.
And I think some of that is the equipment too. The advancement equipment using carbon fiber and
also using the shape of the golf ball.
Yeah. The shape of the golf ball, but I think more the portion of the golf club that comes in contact with the ball. That's the part that they've changed more than anything. Yeah. They've changed the technology with that. They've done some things with like
metal
sciences. Different type of metal, titanium, carbon fiber. How it handles that impact when it hits. How much of that force is absorbed, and how much of that force is reflected back into that object. I think especially when we're talking about driving, putter's a little bit different. Yeah. But I'm saying like driving.
Well, I still think with the putter, if we looked at that,
it's changed a lot too. Yeah.
You could also see you could like if you have. I mean, we talked about accelerometers and things like that, but if you have impact detectors in your putter too, you can see how close someone or how hard someone needs to hit it, and then you can see how far it needs to go, and then you can put 2 and 2 together to see how precise this person has. We can even go into billiards and see the angles. Like if you just go top down, you can see how hard does someone have to hit it to go off of 3 rails and go in?
Well, they're already doing that.
They made a robot.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a robot that does it for you.
That actually was playing billiards and pool. But the thing
they also have a vision system that does it for you too. That tells you exactly what angles to use.
I'm pretty sure they got the one that hits everything in one shot too.
That's a robot. I think MIT was one of the first ones to make one. But
chess bots.
What I was getting at is when we was talking about the golf clubs. I think what the benefit is when we're talking about making the sports good for fans. That's good. But making the athletes better will make it a better experience. Right. What if like he was saying and you were saying, if we had these sensors in place and we're using MQTT and they were using some of the platforms that you can use to get dashboards in real time on a smartwatch, this guy was able to hit the golf ball, and he could find out, well, hey, this time you didn't quite hit it in the right direction, or hey, it would beat to him when he wasn't in the right stance.
Yeah.
You know, some things like that I think would be good. Same thing with field goal kickers.
Yeah, exactly.
It would say, well, hey, you don't have the right technique. Same thing with guys that block. Same thing with guys that shooting a puck in hockey, soccer, and so forth. Yeah. You can use those things so to make the athlete better at his craft.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's like, if you think about it, like baseball, for example, and we're going to definitely go over this, 30-minute time limit that we set ourselves, but if you think about it in baseball, if I have the ability to figure out how much speed I need behind a swing to send a ball over a distance, over a fence line, people can slowly but surely tune their swings in to getting exactly what they want. Like if you need to only get a double or a triple, you need to put it in the left field. I know all I got to do is put a certain amount of force at a certain amount of angle behind the darn thing on a certain pitch to send it where I want it to, thereby giving me the double.
Right into the gap.
Right. But the thing is, if you start adding technology to that, you can start slowly but surely timing that down into a certain spot.
Yeah, and the thing that's beautiful about that is that
now, if you think about it, what about if you did that? I won't cut you off. But you'd have like how you have for quarterbacks. Okay, cool. I need to hit a double. This is how hard I have to hit this thing.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna go back to my point because I want to continue on that. That was actually one thing I was gonna mention earlier, because I think that having that little Pip Boy type screen or whatever, like on the quarterback that has his like that sleeve that has the playbook on it, like I think that's possible within the next decade. And the reason I say that is the LG is developing OLED screens, that are two credit cards thick, like
already exists. Military has
already, and they have foldable tablets, like tablets you can roll up.
10 years ago, the military was using roll-up screens.
And it even goes even further, because you think about, and you brought up golf, these virtual rooms that they set up, and you're just you're in a room like a 4x4 box.
That's a good point.
And it's simulating the golf. You don't need a golf course.
Yeah.
No.
You don't need anything but the club.
Here's the funny part about that. We used to call it the ISMIT.
Yeah.
In the Marine Corps, we used to call it the ISMIT, and pretty much the ISMIT was a rifle range that you went into inside this rifle range with a rifle that was built for the ISMIT, that all it shot was laser and CO2. But it went through your entire course of fire and gave you the exact score that you would get the next day if you went out there with the same exact weather conditions.
Okay. That's
so, and it's taking training to another level. And it's like, but that kind of leads me to the, what about this, thing? Basketball.
Yeah.
How much advanced technology are we adding to basketball these days?
Well, they've already
different shoes and stuff like that. You got to start dealing with like plastics and
a lot of it's tracking shots
and whatnot. So shot tracking,
they're already doing that.
And stuff like that. So, but it's like
arcs and whatnot.
Yeah. And the thing is what my issue with that is you have a lot of people who are like it's station dependent. What do they do? It's at that point it's station dependent. Make that universal. Everybody gets the same exact package. To be able to do this. Cool. You're fighting for views. Some people like the announcers from CBS. Some people like the announcers from Fox Sports. Some people like the announcers from ESPN or NBA or NHL or MLB or whatever. So you have your preferred channels you're going to watch anyways. So you're going to watch it anyways.
Well, I think what it's going to become, and then we probably need to try to wrap this up, is it's going to become the phenomenon like TikTok. People just going to subscribe to the things they want to see, and it's going to be highlight driven. I don't know.
Show it centrally, and then everybody.
20 years from now, I don't know if people's going to sit and watch a whole game.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it's happening like that now. Yeah. We're talking about mostly like physical sports, but like esports has gotten huge, and honestly,
I don't understand.
A lot of the innovations. Well, it's a different type of grind. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. But a lot of the innovation that goes into your actual like real life sports actually comes from video games too. Like the Skycam. That first time that I think it was a Patriots game. It was like so foggy in Gillette that you couldn't see from the standard sideline camera. They had to go Skycam the whole time. It looked like a video game.
Yeah.
The whole time. It was an incredible different view to see, and it was interesting to see. But like, a lot of that stuff is being used now, and to be honest with you, it may not be good for your posture. But there are kids that are putting in more hours in training to be professional video game and esports players than honestly a lot of any other athlete.
Yeah.
But moreover on that fact is that they're on Twitch and other streaming platforms. They're already doing kind of what you have. They're using the platform to stream the actual event, and instead of the like specific channel organizers, speaking or commentating. It is someone else who has that that video feed and their own overlay, and commentating on whatever it is. And in some cases, I actually went on there the other day and I was looking at it was some Counter-Strike like competition or whatever, and there was a streamer that had more views than the main stream. So it's the people are gonna watch what, like what you said, they're gonna watch what they want to watch.
Well, it's like I can understand, like
it would make sense to do that.
Flight simulator. The guys doing the flight sim things. The guys who build the full flight sims. I get that, especially if they're pilots and they're just trying to keep some practice moving. Or those the racing simulators, because they actually put you through a little bit of
That's still timing based, very timing based on a lot of
exactly. I can understand that. There's still some other things that I just don't quite get.
Well, I'm not a gamer in the sense of modern gamer, but I'll explain to you why what he's talking about is such a big deal.
Like, I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I understand it. I'm just not the big. I still believe that sports should be played outdoors and with other people.
I agree with that.
But not in the basement.
But I'm saying, like, how many people nowadays watch news or just get some stream or something on their watch?
I understand that.
Okay, so let me explain just for a moment what he's talking about. So my son plays the basketball stuff.
Yeah.
He got benched the other day on the thing, and he had to be benched for 6 days. They making this stuff now like you on the freaking team, and they talking about trading them.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm telling you. It's not just playing basketball. It's like you
life.
In the league.
Yeah, no, it's life. It's simulating. If
if
you have that
it's
capacity.
I don't understand it either, Nick.
I get it, and the thing is I'll say this: when it comes down to the Twitch economy, I think it's great. You got kids now who they're making money for themselves, they're paying their way through college, becoming game designers. Yeah. Helping out that STEM environment.
Yeah.
Keeping STEM moving. I think that's great. Yeah. But please go see daylight every now and then. It's
you're right. You are 100% right, because there will come a point between real and reality that will not mesh.
Right.
And when that point comes, there will be a breakdown in
everything.
In what you thought will become so, and not to get into a bunch of other stuff, but like
welcome to Black Mirror.
Well, the metaverse.
The metaverse.
Everybody, we're going to have a metaverse. We're going to have a metaverse. That's fine and dandy for an archival system. It is not fine and dandy for a civilization.
So you mean the person who wants to be a realtor in the metaverse really isn't doing all too well?
It's fine it's fine for an archival system for some species that's coming from 1 billion miles away to see how we messed up. But if you want to see how civilization crashed, put all of your effort into the metaverse.
So what Ed's telling you is don't try to sell him your Super Bowl tickets to the metaverse.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I saw you this live stream right here.
I'm good.
But the thing is seeing people make money on it, see people enjoying it, see people make a living off of it, but turn that passion into something where they're building video games or building sports games.
Right.
These are the guys going to work for EA, or these are the guys that go work for like Hendrix Motorsports, and go actually work for some of these drag companies or NASCAR companies or airplane companies that understand simulators. They make that process safer for the athlete or the pilot that's in that seat because they understand how this thing's supposed to work. Those guys, it's like the guys who were working on the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter simulators. Some of those guys came from the old Jepson flight simulator games. Ooh, man, I just aged myself, but okay. We'll stay away from Jane's Top Gun. Oh, yeah. We start dealing with Jane's and stuff like that.
Some of those are still around, right?
Yeah, not all of them. The old helicopter games aren't around very much any longer.
Oh, man.
But... the thing is, if you think about it, we're taking, the stuff from sports, esports and, our real sports and, which I guess you could say esports is real sports these days because now they have military esport leagues and you wrap it all into one and you call it good. But the thing is they're finally branching out, helping other things.
Yeah.
So, they're meshing.
Well, one honorary mention.
Oh, God.
We didn't say paintball.
Well, that's more of a contact sport.
I was going to say.
But we didn't say add technology to paintball.
And the thing is...
The drone racing league.
Yeah, drone racing league.
That's a real thing. Like,
Or like when we
DRL.
went to the RC racing where they're using technology to track where the vehicles are on the...
GPS track. No, that's exactly the point that you were trying to make earlier. The line to gain, like you said, light curtains. And I was like, that's actually good. Why don't you just use light curtains? Like it'll be a 10-yard light curtain. Boom.
Right. SICK actually uses that technology as the physical perimeter at plants. They're actually using light curtains in that aspect.
Nice.
That's interesting.
That would make sense. And then you just put what shuts the switch off in the ball.
Yeah.
Boom.
And it's if you think about it, you start dealing with that type of stuff. DRL and stuff like that. There you got cameras galore.
That's
and
crazy. Yeah.
The stuff the technology people put behind the drone racing league
because they have
is insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now, if any of y'all listening to this are part of that drone racing league, let us know because we'd love to watch. And also maybe have a conversation with you to kind of talk about that a little bit, the stem behind all that. Yeah. And it's like, and then you get, the paintball guys. I used to play a lot. I wish I still did. But you start dealing with like the autococker. You're starting to deal with the advanced E-triggers. You're dealing with all of that. The gas guns that are now auto tuning themselves to what the term is. The chronographs, which are years ago.
And what was the predecessor to that? And now we're not talking about rifles and.
You're talking about like Tippmans?
Nerf.
Yeah, Nerf guns. Yeah.
Nerf is a big thing.
Yep. And the thing is you'd be able to modify those. We used to modify them all the time for fun of it.
Yeah,
they have Nerf leagues.
There's still some couple companies that are custom Nerf gun leagues.
And now we're using the little water ball things.
Well, they got the little beads. They got
the
water
ball Orbeez.
Yeah.
So we've kind of moved our way around. Then you got airsoft.
Airsoft will get you. Not as much as paintball.
Yeah.
But see, here's one other thing.
It stings.
And I think like I said, we're gonna try to get it wrapped up for you guys.
Yeah,
but
we're getting going down the rabbit hole.
Air hockey, foosball, bowling. I mean,
bowling's a whole different freaking bag.
But I'm saying, like, imagine if we could add that technology to bowling to enhance the experience. If the whole ideal is to enhance the experience for the people that are participating in it or the people that's watching, what better way? Imagine what you could put. What type of sensors we could put in the bowling ball in the floor itself, at impact when it hits the bowling pins to get an average or some kind of trend of hey, if I spin it this way I get this, if I spin it the other way, it's a little bit of a stretch, but
I can understand that. Believe me, I can 100% understand that.
Sport too.
Oh yeah, it is.
If you gave me those
it is. I'll tell you that it's a hard one too.
It is. If you gave me the readings,
I like gutter balls.
How much I needed to spin it. How far I had to push it forward, the path that I had to take to get a strike every time. I think that there would be hundreds of thousands of pros.
Yeah.
And the reason why we don't do that is there's not.
Or us. Just normal people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't bowl for nothing. No. I just I play pool and I play pool really well.
Yeah, I get you.
But doing bowling, no, there's a bar there.
Yeah, right. There you go.
That's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the best part of it.
Yeah, exactly. it's like, you know, I got to
Top Golf got you now.
We didn't say Top Golf. We
talked about golf, though.
But we didn't say, like, you kind of touched on it with the drivers, but we didn't say about the driving range like Top Golf, where that's all you're doing is driving.
And they're shooting in certain spots. It's a fun
and the games that you can do.
Yeah. It changes the game.
You know, then you start getting to, like, mini putt and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's
they got the auto putters. They got the
auto putter.
Hey, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole again.
We're heading down that way. You know, the thing is what that kind of gives me an idea. We may have to do another episode on this topic.
Yeah.
And continue down the rabbit hole of nonsense. You know, about how we got, you know, technology into sports, and how sports also influences technology. You know, I think it's kind of where we got to that point. Mm-hmm. You know, so, you know, I for me, I say thank you. You know, hopefully y'all are enjoying it. You know, if y'all have any, you know, questions, comments, concerns, you know, anything like that, you know, any ideas for future episodes, you know, let us know. You know, we're always available, always willing to talk to you. So, you know, with that, I'll turn it over to everybody else.
One thing I'll say is that he's absolutely right. Most of us have probably seen a sport at some point. You know, some of us follow sports almost religiously. It does influence technology, and as we grow, technology influences it, and so on and so forth. And that's kind of that's why we get so excited about it. So if there's something that we did not mention, that you know about, that has some type of tech in some type of sport, or you've used it that way, tell us, because we're probably going to do some research on it and learn a little bit about it. So I also want to say thank you guys, though, but I'll go ahead and let Ed.
Let's stay away from badminton.
I would say, like with the other guys, we appreciate everybody listening. We would welcome any type of input, any type of suggestions. We would like to hear from anybody that's in neuroscience that can maybe give us some direction, so that maybe we can get a little bit more in depth about the type of sensors that can be used, that we can incorporate into any impact sport or any sport where head injury is possible. Yeah. So reach out to us, or if you have any ideas or anything we missed, let us know. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to the Tech at Lunch podcast, where we hope you learned something about tech during your break or during your lunchtime. If you did, please give us a follow to prevent missing future episodes. If you have any ideas or something you want to hear or learn about, please send us a show idea to podcast@vulcanara.com. Hope you have a good rest of the day and continue learning.